This question comes from AJ, who once wrote, "When I was around 8 years old, I was shoveling snow on a freezing day in Colorado and wished I could instantly teleport to the sun's surface just for a nanosecond, then return immediately. I thought that would warm me up without burning me. What would actually happen? Surprisingly, that brief visit wouldn't even make you warmer. The sun's photosphere, its surface, has a temperature of roughly 5,800 Kelvin. Staying there for any noticeable length of time would certainly vaporize you, but a nanosecond is unbelievably short. In that time, light itself travels only about 30 centimeters, 1 foot. Let's imagine you appear there, facing the sun. Normally, you should never look directly at it, but when it fills your entire view, you don't really have a choice. In that 1/1000th of a second, about a microjoule of energy would reach your eyes. That sounds like a lot, but it's really not. If you blinked while looking at your computer screen, or even opened and closed your eyes very quickly, the amount of light entering your eyes during that micro moment would be about the same as what you'd absorb during your nanosecond on the sun. There should really be a word for that. A reverse blink? Maybe? Anyway, during that instant, countless photons from the sun would flood into your retinas, colliding with the light-sensitive cells inside. By the time you teleported back to Earth, your retinal cells wouldn't have even started reacting yet. Over the next few milliseconds, that's tens of millions of nanoseconds, those cells would begin firing, signaling to your brain that they had received an enormous burst of light. You would have spent a single nanosecond on the sun, but it would take 30 million nanoseconds, about 30 milliseconds, for your brain to realize it. From your perspective, you'd see a bright flash that would seem to last far longer than the trip itself, fading only as your retinal cells settled back down. As for your skin, it would absorb around 10 to the power of -5 joules per square centimeter of energy. That's practically nothing. For comparison, the IEEE 1584 safety standard notes that holding your finger in the blue flame of a butane lighter for 1 second delivers about 5 joules per square centimeter, which is just enough to cause a second-degree burn. Your solar nanosecond exposure would be about 100,000 times weaker than that. So aside from the quick flash in your eyes, you probably wouldn't feel a thing. But what if your teleportation coordinates were off and you appeared inside the sun instead of on its surface? That's where things go very wrong. The surface, or photosphere, is relatively cool, at least compared to the interior. The deeper you go, the hotter and denser things become. Temperatures inside the sun climb into the millions of degrees, and the radiation there is overwhelmingly made of X-rays, not visible light. If you materialize for a nanosecond deep in the sun's core, we can estimate what would happen using the Stefan-Boltzmann law, which describes how much radiant energy an object emits. The numbers are grim. You've reached the second-degree burn threshold after just 1 femtosecond, a million times shorter than your planned nanosecond stay. So by the end of your visit, your body would be completely destroyed. And that's only part of the problem. The high-energy X-rays would pass deep into your tissues, heating your internal organs and ionizing your DNA before the outer layers of your skin even had time to burn. In other words, your body would be obliterated at the atomic level. Don't spend a nanosecond inside the sunday. In Greek mythology, Icarus flew too close to the sun and his wax wings melted, sending him falling to his death. The story isn't far off, but it's worth remembering that temperature and heat aren't the same thing. Melting or any kind of phase change depends not just on how hot something is, but on how much energy it absorbs and how long it's exposed. So Icarus didn't perish simply because he got too close to the sun, he stayed there too long. If he had teleported there just for a nanosecond, he might have gotten away with it.